Supreme Lord, eternal truth, let us obey thee alone and live according to truth. Paramo cha Prabhu Satyam Nityatvamev Kevalam Anuvartamahi Satyam Anujeevam Kevalam Om Shantihi Shantihi Shanti. Good morning, Namaste, Bande Matram, welcome all of you. The topic of this morning's discussion will be on self-surrender. So again, we are going to discuss the very important topic. Of course, couple of parts already we have discussed in our earlier classes. So this time we are going to discuss on self-surrender. This entire overall surrender, self-surrender to the divine. In brief, of course, today we will discuss here. And mostly we will discuss this topic from Sri Aurobindo's quotations, Sri Aurobindo's letters. Self-surrender at first comes through love and bhakti. Very dynamic application, the very dynamic knowledge we must have, we must know, we must be fed with this knowledge, we must understand. Sri Aurobindo quotes here, self-surrender at first comes through love and bhakti, devotion, more than through Atmajnana. So Atmajnana, self-knowledge, it comes later, but self-surrender, absolutely it comes from love and devotion. But it is true that Atmajnana is complete surrender. With Atmajnana, the complete surrender becomes more possible. So these three come side by side. Self-surrender initially comes from love and bhakti, more than that of through Atmajnana. But one thing we must realize, we must know, this true. It is true that the Atmajnana is complete. With the Atmajnana, the complete surrender becomes possible. Very interesting. So second we'll go, if you are surrendered only in the inner consciousness. Surrender I have given. Sometimes we must we do recite the term, that's Dada's prayer. Whatever you choose, life or death, everything is acceptable for me. But thing is that we don't know what is life and how to die. Nobody is interested in dying. But thing is that simply we are reciting them word for word, and we claim, we cheat, we deceive ourselves and the divine also. So if you are surrendered only in the higher consciousness with no peace or purity in the lower, certainly that is not enough, and you have to aspire for the peace and purity everywhere. That is the minimum condition, peace and purity everywhere, that must be aspired for. We must be having the greater knowledge for that aspiration. Then again, Sri Aurobindo quotes on the Brahmi condition. The Brahmi condition brings a negative peace of Shanti. That is there, negative peace of Shanti and mukti in the soul. That is a Brahmi condition. But here Sri Aurobindo quotes, self-giving brings a positive freedom. Brahmi condition brings the negation, and self-giving here, it brings a positive freedom which can become also a dynamic force of action in the nature. That is the very crucial surrender, that is self-giving, self-surrender. But Sri Aurobindo quotes here, one can have the Brahmi condition without self-giving. Without self-giving, without self-surrender, it is also there. It is the Brahmi condition. It is the impersonal Brahman to which one turns. Impersonal, that two factors we know, personal and second one is impersonal. Without self-giving, this Brahmi condition, it is turning towards the impersonal Brahman. Renunciation of desire and of all identifications with nature is the condition. That is the condition. Renunciation of desire, kamana ravinasi, dukkha ravinas. Desire, the whole condition of the sorrows. And all identification with nature is the condition. One can have self-giving of the nature to the divine as well as to the soul, and reach by it Brahmi condition, which is not only negative but also positive. As Sri Aurobindo concludes, a release of the nature itself, and not only by release from the nature, release of the nature, not the release from the nature. So one can, there can be devotion and surrender simultaneously. There can be devotion and surrender in the higher mind experience, but it is not inevitable as the psychic. There can be devotion and surrender, both the things. Devotion and surrender in the higher mind experience, but the thing is that it is not inevitable in the psychic. In psychic, not inevitable. In the higher mind, one can be too conscious of identity with the Brahman to have devotion and surrender. Then, very interesting, the surrender and the love bhakti, love and devotion surrender are not contrary things. They go in a single direction, unidirectionally. They go together. It is true that at first surrender can be made through knowledge by the mind. Initial condition maybe it can be made, surrender can be made through knowledge by the mind, but it implies a mental bhakti. And as soon as the surrender reaches the heart, from mind it is coming to the heart, as soon as it reaches the heart, the bhakti manifests and a feeling, and with the feeling of bhakti, love comes. So, mental and knowledge. In the heart, it comes as bhakti. Then, with the feeling of bhakti, love comes. Then we'll go for the next description as described by Sri Aurobindo. When the psychic being and the heart and the thinking mind, three things, psychic being and the heart and the thinking mind have surrendered, completely surrendered. The rest of is a matter of time and the process. And there is no reason for disturbance because main parts have surrendered. So there is no chance for no reason for disturbance. The central and the effective surrender has been made through what is the initial three words here in the quoted, psychic being, heart and the thinking mind. That is the central and effective surrender has been made. It is never too early to make the complete surrender. Very interestingly, Sri Aurobindo assures us who are getting restless or who are getting little bit hazy, it is never too early to make the complete surrender. Some things may need to wait, but not that. It has need of time. Then Sri Aurobindo quotes again. It depends upon the sadhaka. Some may find it necessary to surrender the external activities first, so as to bring the inner surrender. It depends as per his consciousness, as per his progress. It depends. Surrender the external activities first, so as to bring the inner surrender. Then the surrender of the vital is always difficult. Surrender of the vital is always difficult. That is the most typical point we have to understand. Because of the unwillingness of the forces of the universal vital ignorance, the vital packed with ignorance, that it has got unwillingness, it has got its own way of thinking or working. So, unwillingness of the forces of the universal vital ignorance, but it does not mean that fundamental incapacity. It has the capacity and it has need of time. Of course, it is difficult, but thing is possible. It is impossible to become like a child, giving oneself entirely until the psychic is in control and stronger than the vital. Like a very crucial description, of course, you are giving a beautiful comparison. Child gives himself as it is there, as it is possible and it is easy. But unless otherwise the psychic is in control and stronger than the vital, not possible like the child's surrender. So again we'll go. The ordinary vital is never willing to surrender. Very interesting way. Ordinary vital is never willing to surrender. The true inmost vital is different. External vital, and internal inner vital. So inner vital, the true inmost vital is different. Surrender to the divine is necessary as to the psychic. There is no other go. It has to be done. If there is any identification with the vital demands or outcries, if there is any identification with the vital demands or outcries, that necessarily diminishes the surrender for the time. It is very important thing. One must come to realize it. One must understand, because without really knowing the thing proper way, it gets confused. And Sri Aurobindo quotes here, I have no doubt of it. You have only to understand it rightly, and you can go at once in the right ground. That means it is an obstinate or irrational and mechanical survival of the old movement. That, in fact, is how these things try to survive. It is bound to go if you want to give its fresh life. So, that mixture should not be there. You must go on rejecting the vital mixture every time when it arises. If you are steadfast in rejecting, that is a continuous process, it will lose more and more of the force and fade out. That is the only thing. Opening, then during the quotes about opening, is a thing that happens by itself by sincerity of will and aspiration. When the aspiration is strong, when the aspiration is steadfast, when it is a continuous process and there is sincerity, then this opening will come volatilely. It means to be able to receive the higher force that comes from the mother. So it must be simultaneously there must be continuous effort, of course. Then Sri Aurobindo quotes here very interestingly. It is never too early to make the complete surrender. Then something need it be, we have to wait because it has need of time. One offers to the divine in order to get rid of the illusion of the separation. That separation is there, therefore this separation has separated us from the divine. So when one offers to the divine in order to get rid of the illusions of the separation, the very act of offering implies that all belongs to the divine. That is the best minimum condition, the major understanding here there must be there for us, that everything belongs to the divine. Then very interesting, each person has its own freedom of choice up to the certain point, not wholeheartedly. It has option, it has freedom, there he has freedom up to a certain point. Unless he makes the full surrender, unless this complete surrender is not done, and as he uses the freedom, he has to take the spiritual and other consequences. Here in the questions here, this freedom up to a point. Secondly, the full surrender is required. Unless the full surrender, the freedom brings spiritual consequence we have to suffer. The help can only be offered, not imposed. There is a help, divine help and mother's help is there, but not imposed. Silence, absence of frank confession means a desire in the vital to go its own way. It has, because it is, I already know, it never accepts the surrender, no willingness to surrender. When there is no longer concealment, when there is physical self opening to the divine, then the divine can intervene. Unless otherwise we are open, we are not giving, then also the help of course is there, but not, he is not directly intervening. The divine can lead, he does not drive. The divine can lead, he does not drive. There is an internal freedom permitted to every mental being called man. Every mental being called man, some sort of freedom, internal freedom is given to ascend or not to ascend to the divine leading. How else can be only the real spiritual evolution be done by this process? There is no other goal. There are devotion and surrender in the higher mind experience, but it does not inevitably in the psychic. So the devotion, the surrender are required for this. All the play in the world is based upon certain relative free will of the indwelling being. Each in the sadhana it remains. Even here also, and consent is necessary at every step. We have to concentrate, we have to self surrender. That is the